Thank you all. And it is starting to snow out here. I really hope I'm not stuck here tomorrow. I'm gonna poke my head out the door, and I'm gonna check on the snow after I'm done devouring my Thanksgiving dinner. And I'm thankful for all you guys. Thank you for watching along. I'm very thankful for that. And I know, it's time to be thankful for what we can be thankful for. So, cheers, everyone. Ooh. The structure from the inside looks pretty good for the night. Of course, about time to go to bed. So here I am in my picture-perfect piece of paradise, getting ready to sleep for the night with the bear spray beside me just in case. But they should be pretty well done for the year. So that's a relief. Anyway, we'll see you guys bright and early. Good morning. It really does not get better than that. This is an awesome setup. It was like I was sleeping indoors. It was that warm. I had the buddy heater on low, and there's not even much condensation inside here on the windows. So that was an awesome success. Time to get up and start the day. I would camp like this any day of the week. This is probably my new favorite setup out of anything I've done. For stealthiness, I would give it 0% because it's just not a stealthy setup. But as far as coziness, that's going to be up at like 80%. Really, I could stretch out just fine in this. I'm 5'11", so if you were much taller than 6 feet, you may not want the Santa Fe. But sleeping diagonally, you could probably stretch out quite comfortably. The seats actually, they go fairly far flat when you flip them back. Some of them, they're kind of at an angle, so you're sitting up all night. But yeah, that was awesome. I'm just getting packed up. We could hit these logging roads. I'm curious to see if there's any fresh prints or tracks out here that we can try to identify some type of wildlife other than the few that we saw at the very beginning. Tarps. They come the size of an envelope, and then when you roll them back up, they're the size of a raft. So, awesome. I pulled down this road. It's normally a good spot to see some wildlife, or at least some evidence of it, and I saw some tracks. But it turns out there are human tracks, which are not that interesting. So I'll keep poking around here. So I'm going to turn around because I think I'm going to get stuck if I go any further than this. It really is a sleepy forest up in these higher elevations. There's not a whole lot. I did see a bunch more stuff down at lower elevations at the start of the logging road. And then I get up here and it's pretty quiet. Until now, I found these prints. And they're fairly big. I'll give you a comparison there. I don't know exactly what they are. It's not really all that fresh, but it looks like it could be a lynx or a big cat like that. If you know tracks, let me know what you think that might be. That's about all I've seen so far. So I gotta zip down the hill. And unless I see anything amazingly interesting on the way down, I'll call this the video for the week. And we're out here filming a couple of more right away. So that's going to be awesome. There's going to be good times coming up. We're going to hit a couple of other really cool spots that I know of. And we're going to get that 400,000 special filmed out here as well. So thanks, everybody. Thanks for subscribing. If you haven't and you'd like to, that's free and it's good to do and it makes you feel good. So until next time, you're camping with Steve.
Like the Kentucky Derby, Woodford Reserve Bourbon is a spectacle for the senses.
Hey, welcome to Camping with Steve. We're not snowed in anymore. We rented this little car here to putt around in until we get ours fixed. And we got a major snowfall warning coming in tonight, like imminent or occurring as we speak. So, back of the rental car, I got set up with a little bunk here. And I'm just going to try camping out in the car for the night in a snowstorm. So I got to find a spot to park, and I'll go over a few things because I have actually lived in a car before for about a month or so, and I'll just touch on a few things because, you know, nobody plans to live in a car, but if you ever do find yourself in a car, it's nice to know a few things in advance. So let's get started. For various reasons, people can find themselves sleeping in a car. And that doesn't necessarily mean you've been evicted or you're homeless or something like that. It could be as simple as a breakdown, or maybe the hotels are all booked up on your journey. So you want to be pretty close to a 24-hour gas station because gas stations are an excellent source of bathrooms. And you don't want to be carrying antifreeze jugs with you for those emergency calls. You want to be generally somewhere pretty close to services. The snow is beginning, so next stop after we fuel up here is going to be to find our spot. And after that, I'm going to secure some food. I'm not going to cook in this car because that's a whole other world of problems. It takes special skill to do properly. But there's an abundance of restaurants all over the place. Walmarts used to be a good option for a quick overnighter, but they've seemed less friendly over the years. Some people have probably abused the privilege of parking there overnight, turned it into a full-on vacation, pulled out their lawn chairs, etc. But there's other options that are just as good. Not too nice of a neighborhood, not too bad of a neighborhood. You need that Goldilocks zone for sure, because you're likely to get into trouble in both the extreme locations. If you're somewhat close to an apartment building where there could be random vehicles, that's a good thing too, because a lot of people know the vehicles in their neighborhood, and they keep an eye out for each other, obviously. And a strange car would arouse some severe suspicion if there was somebody sleeping in it overnight. So we're in search of just that neighborhood, and I know of a spot that should work. This looks like a pretty good spot. There is no sidewalk along this side here. There is an apartment building over there. So it's not unusual, I guess, for a vehicle to be parked here. Maybe they're visiting a friend or loved one at the apartment building. It's your typical blue-collar, working-class neighborhood. So I don't think there should be too much of a problem. Now, what might seem like a downfall is that there's a heavy snowfall warning, but that just means my windows will be all covered in snow and nobody is going to be able to see in. When I moved out to the coast, I lived in my car years ago in my 20s for the first month until I got my RV. And that was great when it rained or something like that, because the windows would get coated in this pebbly coating of water, and it was really hard for anybody to see in. It was a little bit more tricky to tell if there was condensation on the window, which there will be in cold temperatures. So I will be cracking the windows just enough to get some ventilation, to let some moisture out, and not big enough to let the snow in, hopefully. So we're going to go around the block, make sure there's nothing major happening here that would be a problem, like party somewhere or something like that. And I think we're in the zone for a good camping spot. Okay, I don't see any major raging keggers in the neighborhood. I don't see anybody staring out their blinds with binoculars looking for trouble. I think this is going to be a great spot to set up camp for the night. I'm just going to secure some food before it snows too badly, and then once I get parked, I'll pretty much stay there so that there's no tracks coming in and out of my car, and we should be a-okay for a stealthy sleep in the car. Now, I swore to myself years ago that I'd never own another vehicle that I couldn't live in if push came to shove. So something along these lines is really versatile, and they're not too bad on gas as well. Food is ordered. And according to this app, that means 15 minutes from now, I'll be eating a hot, steaming, delicious pizza. So the obvious question is, why am I sleeping in a Hyundai Santa Fe? To be honest, I get a kick out of it. There's a little bit of a challenge. It's cozy, I think, and it takes me back to my mid-20s. I'd spent a month living in a Pontiac G6, which is nowhere near as good of a setup as this. But the first few days were rough. After that, it was a walk in the park. I could pull in, sleep with all the noise around me. It would rain a little bit. They'd cover up the windows so people couldn't see in too easily. But this has got some window tint, and I think as long as nobody's walking by really close, I shouldn't have too much of a problem. So that's the story about that. And I did live in there a month and then got my RV. Then I lived in the RV for another 3 years or so before rejoining society and becoming a quote-unquote productive member of society. So let's go grab that food, and as soon as this snow starts to really fall a little heavier, we are going to commence the hunkering down. One of my favorite treats is a white box pizza. Oh, yes. White box for one of these small little locally owned things that don't really have a big enough chain to print their own boxes. I just call them a white box pizza. But I'm famished. So I'm going to dig into this deluxe-y looking little pizza here. Oh, yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That steams up the windows pretty good, but yeah, I'm gonna devour some of this, and then I still don't see our snow yet. That's kind of a crucial ingredient in being stealthy, because I don't have anything else to go over the windows. I'm going to be relying on snow insulation completely. Oh, there's a bunny. This place is crawling with them. Hey, our snow is falling. That's building up on the dash right now. Nature's camouflage will cover this all, and it'll be probably so good I can even use a little bit of light back here once we get enough snow on the windows. I've got the heater going a little bit to try and warm it up here. It's on the floor setting, so it shouldn't melt off too much on the windows. And it's going to be a little chilly tonight, probably minus 14 degrees Celsius, which in Fahrenheit I'll have to do that conversion. But it'll be all right once I'm in that sleeping bag. It's a little colder than I normally like to camp out in, but I got a thermometer in here, so we're going to see how much my body heat actually warms up the vehicle. I'm going to crack my windows here just a little bit. ventilation, and that way in the morning it's not a huge deal to try and thaw this all out, because when you're camping in really cold weather in a vehicle, it will be solid ice on the inside of the windows just from exhaling all night. So time to turn off these lights and crawl into the back. Okay, let's get back here. All right, this will be good. I'm gonna just shut off these lights here, and I'll give you an update in a second here when we get a little more snow on the windows. So we got a nice bit of snow built up on the window. I'm just tucked right in here. The temperature I'm reading in here right now, it's like 16 degrees Celsius. Can't even see my breath. That's really good considering outside it's around minus 14 Celsius now, minus 13, 14, somewhere in that range. So I'm anticipating it will get colder in here. So I've got my delicious step 2 of root beer in the sleeping bag, along with a bottle of water for when I wake up in the morning and I'm thirsty from sleeping in a car all night. So that's what I got right now. I have to give a big shout out to people who are sponsoring these adventures. So thank you all for your generous donations. And again, certainly don't feel obligated to. I appreciate those who do, but there are people actually living in cars right now. So if you donate to Habitat for Humanity or a food bank or something like that, just shoot me an email. You can find the email on campingwithsteve.com, and get in touch with me that way, and I'll give you a shout out just for donating to a good cause. That's all we really need in this world right now, is to make things a bit easier, because I'm in the car by choice. A lot of people aren't. So that being said, I'm gonna turn in. Hopefully it's gonna be a quiet, uneventful, normal night of sleeping in the car without any surprises. But as always, I have car keys with me, right beside me, and you always got to know where they are. Because in a vehicle, if somebody starts rattling one of the handles, or God forbid smashes a window out, I want to be able to hit that alarm pretty quick, and then hopefully that'll spook them off. Or I suppose somebody yelling from within the car would probably surprise them as well. So that is kind of the line of defense if there is anything wrong. With the vehicles you choose, if you're camping in them, the junkier they look, the more problems you're going to have. I've been living in vehicles not for a while now, but I had enough experience in it. If I drove past, I could easily tell if somebody was sleeping in the vehicle. Most people would not notice, they'd just drive past. But as soon as I see the condensation on the window, if I see they have the windows covered up a certain way, or generally the junkiness of a vehicle, things tied onto the side of it, extra storage compartments and stuff, right away. So try to keep the vehicles clean, as stock as possible. Don't dress it out with limo tint on all the front windows and everything. That's just got to try and keep it as normal looking a vehicle as possible. But this old timer can ramble on sometimes, so I'm going to turn off the light. We'll see you guys in the morning, and thanks for watching. Now you're camping with Steve, kind of, or sleeping in a car with Steve. Cheers.
$6 never tasted so good. IHOP's Breakfast Faves combo is now just $6, featuring IHOP's world-famous buttermilk pancakes, crispy hickory smoked bacon, and 2 eggs cooked to order your way. All for just $6, part of the new $6 House Faves menu.
Rogaine, keep your head in the game.
Before I understood what nuclear truly was, before I could use my mind to move a submarine, I had to be born for it.
Thinking about switching to 5G home internet? Think again. When your networks get busy, calling and texting wins, and your home internet pays the price. Stick with Armstrong to get more data, more speed, and internet whenever you need it. Armstrong, keeping you connected.
You're sick, on vacation. Good thing Amazon Pharmacy will deliver meds right to the hotel. Because your wife's not going out there alone with them.
Good morning. Nothing soothes the soul more than sleeping in a nest of blankets in the back of an SUV. Been a little bit chilly last night. I could say that. I was actually sleeping right on my thermometer, so I don't have an actual. Oh, hey, I can see the minimum temperature in here. Last night was 0 degrees. So right at freezing, right? 0.5 degrees Celsius. And the maximum temperature from when I was sleeping on the thing was probably like 29 degrees. So it was nice and toasty under the sleeping bag, that's for sure. I don't know if we got quite the amount of snow that I was expecting that we'd get. And it could still be snowing for all I know, I'm not sure. But I haven't checked yet if they've still got the snow warning, snowfall warning on. But the amount of condensation even on the windows here, like there is some for sure. But I've slept in a vehicle before. I'm packing up anytime, so I'm going to start the vehicle, get the thawing process going. I'm going to get out of here because I have no idea what's up on the outside of the car. So, I'll start this up, get the heat going, then I'll have to defrost all the windows in here before I can really go anywhere. But it's not unusual. If a vehicle starts out here, a lot of people got those remote car starters, right? Like, so you could just be warming it up. Oh, oh, fluffing stuff. Look at this. This sleeping bag is disintegrating. I think it might be time to check out sleeping bag situations. But yeah, you can see all this little bits of condensation in here. But yeah, let's get this started and then go find some grub. Aha. There's still some condensation to come off, but I haven't even turned the fan on full blast yet. Checked out the snow situation. Yeah, we actually got not a whole pile of snow. They were calling for almost 6 inches, 10 to 15 centimeters worth. So, oh well, that could be a blessing in disguise because at home, we finally got our driveway passable. So, yeah, I'll be out here in no time. Be defrosted. It'll be a piece of cake. Oh, hi. Could I get a large coffee with 2 cream and 1 sugar? And could I also get an everything bagel with cream cheese? A plain, please. Yes, thank you. Not today. That's everything, thanks. You too, thank you very much. Hi.
When you park for the night, if you're sleeping in your car, park as late as possible. Don't pull up at 6 p.m. and then hang out there watching movies and cooking dinner or eating food. You do that somewhere else where you're actually going to sleep for the night. You just glide right in at 10 or 11 whenever you go to sleep. Peek around, make sure nobody saw you, crawl into the back, and then you get out as early as you can in the morning. No sense to linger around and sleep in and read the news or whatever. Like, you get out of there, because the less time you're spending there, the better. And some people do seem to think that that sleeping in your car is a very serious crime. I think in some states it is a little bit more serious than here. I think if there was a complaint to the police, they would probably knock on the door, ask you what you're doing. They may tell you to move somewhere else if they're not comfortable with where you're parked. But I don't think that they'd give you a ticket or anything like that. I don't think it is possible here. But they certainly could harass you, and that's just not pleasant to deal with at 2 or 3 in the morning when it's freezing in your car, etc. Like, yeah. So it's Tim Hortons everything bagel. Guess that means everything but cheese. I just see sesame seeds and poppy seeds on this everything bagel. One side's got cream cheese. Does not look toasted at all. This isn't toasted. Huh. Unreal. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look at that video and see if I double check. I actually said to get it toasted. That would be good. So thanks for watching. I'm gonna have my breakfast here, and we're gonna upload this as soon as I can find a good cell tower to park under. I'm gonna test my upload speeds here, because unfortunately, not only do we not have fiber optic internet, we don't have cable internet, we don't have DSL internet. We've got a little Wi-Fi hub, or a little LTE hub at home, and that just uploads at 1 megabit per second. So my files are usually like 10, 13 gigs in that area for a 4K file. So it's really tricky to try and get that done from home unless I, spend the whole day uploading. My cellular data, they give me 50 gigs a month. So 4 videos a month, they can be about 12.5 gigs each, as long as they don't use any other data. So that's what we'll do. We will use up 12.5 of my gigs today somewhere. So thanks for watching. If you can tolerate this stuff, or if you're mildly curious, you can please consider subscribing. There's also, of course, Hunker Down merch. There's a few different designs. And as soon as I get the time, I'll be putting up another design or two. And that's a perfect gift for someone who loves my channel. Or if somebody hates my channel, that would be a hilarious, ironic gift if you got that for them. So there's those options. But yeah, other than that, we will see you guys next week. And now you've been camping with Steve, kind of, in the back of the car. Cheers, guys.
New Halo Top with mix-ins in every bite and half the calories.
Yeah. Welcome to being snowed in at Steve's place. We had a huge dump of snow. We got the plows in and cleared it. Then it snowed again. And our little car just can't make it up the hill. So we're going to get it plowed as soon as we can. And new tires on the truck. And we'll be more mobile. So I am camping in the yard tonight. I know it's not everybody's thing, so you can bail on this video if that's not what you want to see. But next week we'll be up to the usual stuff. Out traveling around, provided there's no restrictions. So I got the summer gazebo tent. I'm going to set it up right here. It's going to be pretty cold tonight, about -14 Celsius, which is around 7 degrees Fahrenheit. And like this is a summer gazebo, you know. This is more in place at a beach in the summer than it is out in the backyard in this type of weather. So we'll set this up. I'll throw in the heater, and I'm going to see if it's possible to survive the night camped to one of these with basically screens for walls with little wind panels. So let's see what happens. Let's get some heat in here. Mr. Buddy Heater. There we go. About 450,000 BTUs in this thing. Should do some toastiness for a long night ahead. When it's not used for a while, the propane leaves the hose and the pilot line. So you got to kind of let it run for a little bit to get the propane back out there. And eventually she will want to burn. But that can't come soon enough. It's a little chilly. Good. So once this is going, I'll move the propane cylinder outside, because if it did get too hot, it would be very unlikely that this would get too hot in here to cause the tank to vent. But if it were to vent with an open flame here, the tank would Hindenburg in like a second. So we don't need that type of a problem out here. I'm sure beautiful wife wouldn't be happy to look out the window and see that. Where'd you go there, guy? There, safe. Safe. My favorite sleeping tool is a cot. Like that. Easy pop-out cot will get you through some slumbery situations, that's for sure. An awkward sitting device. And there. Close.